just me and you.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm alright.
You doing all right? Everybody doing all right out there?
We have two people.
I have a warning on this.
Brandon and...
Hello, aloha from Hawaii. I'm reading a warning. Hold on, that's being I don't know how to change that after the fact. I don't think I can change. This is a problem. I upped the frame rate per second on the camera. So we're just gonna see if this fucks anything up or what happens here. Who wasn't gonna be joining us today?
Katie
and Jack. Katie and Jack won't. Katie's playing with goats. She's got a work thing, and she's playing with goats. Let's see if that. I don't know. So that's cool. Jack's doing spooky Halloween stories in the Planetarium. So if you're in the Council Bluffs area of Iowa, randomly watching us, you head over to the Rolling Bluffs Planetarium, and check out Jack's spooky Halloween stories. I mean, that's cool.
Everybody watches us.
Everybody.
All right, so Brandon, what town are you nearby? Kailua, Kaneohe. Are you up near the North Shore? Where you at, man? I want to know. You just said windward is half the island. Cutting how? About a couple of no idea.
He doesn't know. He doesn't.
Well, the good news is just keep driving. You're eventually going to wrap around to Waikiki anyway. So it all just wraps around.
All right. Okay.
If you end up at the Dole Plantation, it's up at the North Shore.
Oh, the Dole Plantation.
Yep.
Oh, that's fun. Just a lot. Must be bananas up there.
Oh, pineapples.
Oh.
But I mean,
guess not.
Dole does do bananas.
Oh yeah, that's what I first. Yeah, I don't eat a lot of pineapples because I guess we're not Hawaiian. It's not a staple of our diet.
Oh, a pineapple?
Yeah, pineapple.
Yeah,
I would assume pineapple being a staple of a...
it's coconut. My dad hates coconut, but my mom can expertly hide it in food and he won't know it.
Ah.
So, I think it's a texture thing for my dad.
I can get that because coconut, if you have like coconut flakes or shavings or whatever, it's like very tough, and kind of like cardboardy-ish, I would say, But I mean, the flavor of coconut I find to be
I
very
love it
nice.
Rum. Coconut rum is great.
Yeah, coconut rum.
Because...
Yeah. Coconut fried shrimp.
Oh, that's really good.
That's good stuff. All right.
Do you need a count in?
No. Let me fluff my hair. Let's fluff my hair. Let me move my phone out of visual range.
It's on vibrate?
Yes, it's on vibrate.
Okay, so it's not gonna make any noises.
It shouldn't make any noises.
So
it'll vibrate the couch.
We'll hear your butt vibrating.
Yeah, let me hear my butt vibrating. Oh, hi, Mom. Mom's here.
All right, you ready?
Now that Mom's here, then we can start now. Podcast, Mom.
4.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Cosmos with Cosmos. I'm Liz.
I'm Mike.
And Brandon is living the high life in Hawaii on assignment. Hawaii? I'm sorry, I overpronunciated.
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, it was a little... Hawaii.
Right now. So you got just us, but if you stick around or check it out later on YouTube, The Hangover, then if Brandon's still hanging out with us, you'll see his comments in Le Chat during Le Hangover. But for now, we have just a normal, regular episode for you of High in the Sky for November. But of course, we're still getting drunk in the sky. So what are you drinking?
I am drinking what I am calling an FRB. You'll find out what that means, but for this particular thing, it means fuck you up real fast.
Hey!
But anyway, it's got cinnamon whiskey. It has peach schnapps, actually kind of heavy on the peach schnapps, and butterscotch schnapps.
It's a lot of sugary liqueurs in that one. That'll do you in.
But it's really good.
I am drinking a 12155 Hyginus. And that's a deep cut into this episode. Very deep cut into this episode. So stick around to find out what that is in reference to. But this drink is...
Oh,
bartender?
Cinnamon whiskey with peach tea.
Is it the peach cinnamon whiskey?
Yes, cinnamon whiskey.
I soaked peaches.
Which we're all out of now.
I soaked peaches in cinnamon whiskey for a day, and then drained the whiskey, and then put the peaches in. Shook them up with a little cinnamon sugar. So we got some boozy peaches.
You want to try the whiskey sour?
Yeah.
It's very sour. It's very sour. So this actually has peach preserves in it. It has peach preserves with a little bit of water to water it down, but you do not taste the peach preserves at all.
Oh, okay. I was thinking that was going to be like real sugary because of the preserves.
Yeah, but it has in this particular case though it's not a typical whiskey sour in that this has cinnamon whiskey in it and also lemon juice obviously, but
it's actually
no egg white stuff.
It's really not that sour. The first sip is a little sour, but then it really just...
Yeah.
It's really nice, actually. It's nice on the palate. It has a good mouthfeel.
Yeah, I left the egg whites out because I was scared I was going to run out of time. But it turned out I had plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Mom's got Earl Grey with lavender. Hot. Brandon's driving, so he's not drinking anything.
Well, he might be,
Well.
but he shouldn't be telling us. Well, okay, he might be having, like, water.
If he was drinking, it would apparently be called the Island Paradise.
The Island Paradise. But, I mean, it could be water. That's Island Paradise,
That's
too.
true.
So.
That's true.
Brandon, we gave you a drink name.
Yeah. Oh, you gave it to him. I thought he hopped in the notes and made himself a drink name.
No, I gave him the name.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Anyway, if you enjoy our shenanigans, please follow us on all the things at Twitter/X at Drinking Cosmos. Everywhere else, Cosmos with Cosmos. You can find us on wherever you get your podcasts, like Spotify, or look at our beautiful faces here on the YouTube.
Yours.
All of our beautiful faces.
Yours.
Everyone is beautiful. Okay. And if you want more things that are cool to check out Wildixia, Wildixia on Etsy. She's got some amazing artwork that she does up there as well. There's Ramon Proctor, MrProctorShow.com, and I still got to look up the link to his other one that he does. And of course, our good buddy
Mr.
Jack.
Proctor Socks or something like
Yeah,
that.
Mr. Proctor, I don't know. And then our good buddy Jack's over at the Rolling Bluffs Planetarium.com, who's doing spooky stories in the planetarium today, which is pretty fun, pretty cool. And I bet Jack gives a great planetarium show. I'd love to see his planetarium show.
Well, forever in the Council Bluff area.
We'll go
Iowa.
see Jack's planetarium show.
But I don't know when we're going to Iowa.
Yeah. Anyway, in the meantime, you can also check out our little shots of astronomy science on YouTube and Spotify called The Shot with Cosmos. Little bits for you. Just little short, brief.
Quick drinks.
Quick downers of astronomy.
Shooters, yep.
Quick shooters. Shoot that astronomy down your gullet. Anyway. We have some drinking rules, of course, just to spice things up, make things a little fun, make things very, college-like. If you hear a dog bark, take a drink. And if we make any nerdy Star Wars or Lord of the Rings reference, and I've already built, I think, a Star Wars reference into the notes here, take a drink for that as well. But in the meantime, are you ready to get high? In the sky. I'm gonna do it every time. I say it with the same cadence, and I love it.
It's great. Yeah, but yes, I am.
Okay,
ready.
you're ready? Okay, cool. Because this is for November. Well, of course, recording this and when this comes actually out is released, it'll still be October. So we're getting you ready for November because October is ending really fucking fast.
Yeah.
We're shortly upon Halloween, and we'll be into November and Thanksgiving and then Christmas and then the year's over and then we have to wait forever again for Halloween to come back. Anyway,
I'm looking forward to the new year now.
Yeah, I guess.
I got a nice trip.
Oh, you do have a nice trip coming up.
So.
Anyway, in the meantime, for November, if you want to go outside at night and check out the sky, as long as it's nice and clear, and I mean, it's gonna get chilly, so wear a jacket.
It won't be here.
It won't be here.
2 weeks of rain for us.
Oh boy, well. Up in the night sky, we've decided that, when we talk about the night sky, there's a lot of constellations up there, and, they're not changing. It's the same constellations that are going to be there for a few years now. The stars are moving, but they don't move fast enough for the constellations to look significantly different in our night sky.
We're seeing the same thing the Egyptians saw.
Yeah. So, things can get a little repetitive, and when we're talking about the constellations that you can see up there, assuming everybody is watching every single episode. So what we've decided is just to do a little constellation highlight during High in the Sky, and choose one or two constellations to talk about, and I have chosen one for November, and I thought this was hold up.
I did not want to interrupt you, but apparently that is what happened.
Yes, I chose one constellation, and I realized that this was an interesting choice because it's kind of a dim constellation. It's not a very bright constellation, so it's not going to be necessarily the easiest to spot or make out if you're in a very light polluted sky. A darker sky is going to do a little bit better. In fact, this constellation is the second dimmest of the zodiac constellations.
I bet Cancer's number one.
No, I think might be like Virgo. Virgo's pretty dim, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
It is.
I
don't know. Actually, I didn't look up what the first dimmest.
Well, water constellations are just dim generally.
Yes, and we're in the water constellation time of year with Pisces, Aquarius, Virgo. I guess Virgo's also earthy, but
Yeah,
I'm getting a little too close to some non-science stuff. But I have chosen the constellation of Pisces. Pisces, the fishes, two fish hanging out. Up there, they kind of look like it kind of looks like a pair of balloons, like if I or a child drew balloons, basically. Like imagine a child's drawing of like a kid holding two balloons. You have two lines that make the strings, and you get two kind of ovals that make the balloons.
That was going to be my drink name until I changed it, but it was going to be Liz Draws Balloons.
Yeah. So that's essentially what makes them out in our sky. That's the kind of the shape of them there. And this constellation of Pisces lies between Aquarius and Aries.
Two dim constellations.
Two dim constellations as well. Oh, I guess Aries is the other water one.
Aries is Ram, though.
Well, yes.
But doesn't he look like...
No, Capricornus is the sea goat.
Yeah, Capricornus is sea goat.
Yeah, so I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, the March equinox is located in Pisces. And there's actually only 2 stars that are brighter than a magnitude 4. So stars the brightness of things in the night sky is on a scale of brightness that is called magnitude. The lower the number, the brighter you are, which is weird and fucks with your head because that's not how we count, right? So, for example, Venus, which is the... third
brightest object in the sky. Sun, Moon, Venus.
It is magnitude of negative 4.56 at its brightest, because its brightness changes as it goes through phases and shit. And the dimmest stars that you can see with your naked eye are at a 7.2 magnitude. So the 2 stars in there's 2 stars in Pisces that are brighter than a magnitude 4. So what that means in a nutshell, a dim constellation. If you have more light polluted skies, you can use the assistance of Google Sky Maps or some app that you can use your phone with to help you find what you're looking at, which we promoted every time we do one of these shows. But even deeper deeper in Pisces, located within the constellation that you definitely need assistance for your eyeballs to see, are some deep space objects that are popular. There's M74, Messier Object 74, one of the cataloged objects by Charles Messier.
Who was a comet hunter.
And a Frenchman.
Oh, okay.
I assume because it's Messier.
I mean, yeah, you're probably not too far off. But Messier, he was a comet hunter, and I know I've said this, and he got tired of finding all these little fuzzy patches, and so he decided to catalog them so that he could avoid them and know that they're not comets, because comets look like little fuzzy things. And he's best known for his catalog and not for any comets he's ever discovered.
Oh, that's kind of sad for him. But also, he gets a whole fucking catalog of astronomical objects, so I don't feel too bad.
Yeah, and then, astronomy groups will do... astronomy groups will have, like, Messier marathons when they go out and look for
And they just go and try to spot all the Messier objects that are up?
For the whole night, except for the ones that are right there at the sun.
A bunch of fucking nerds. Love it. I think it might be Jupiter, Mom, the bright one that you're seeing. I can't remember what planet. I should know this, but
well, it depends on where she's seeing it.
You've had some clouds. Yeah, it depends on when you're seeing it. I'll look into it and see which one you are. Brandon says Charles Messier's notes are a little messy. But anyway, this Messier 74, M74, it is a loose spiral galaxy. It's loose.
Loose.
It's not tightly bound spiral arms. It's kind of loose-ish out there. It's 30 million light years away. And then you have NGC 520. This is the new general catalog, so a different catalog of objects. It is a pair of colliding galaxies. That is 105 million light years.
That's always fun. And what's that process called?
When a larger galaxy consumes a smaller galaxy, it's called galactic cannibalism. Otherwise, it's just like a galactic merger.
Yeah.
Which isn't as fun. So those are a couple of deep space objects within Pisces that are out there. Of course, with the handy use of binoculars or telescopes, you can see those. But yeah, of course, with these constellations, they didn't just appear out of nowhere. Basically, some people had to have some imaginations and play connect the dots with the stars.
Imagination.
It's like what we do with clouds. Even as adults, we still see pictures in the clouds. We'll look up and be like, "Oh, it's a bunny."
Yeah, but these stories were fueled by alcohol.
Well, a lot of stories were filled by just nothing else to do in a really dark night sky. I turned the timer off on this iPad. We primarily go with the Greco-Roman versions of constellations, just based on when, during the Enlightenment, when the sky was kind of officially, like, they used official maps and kind of made things like, okay, let's set an official kind of thing of what these constellations are in the Northern Hemisphere, at least. But originally, Pisces was the Babylonian constellation of Sinunutu, which was known as the Great Swallow. So instead of fish, I guess the Babylonians saw a bird up there. But again, we go by the Greco-Roman version, so we have Pisces the fish, and there's a few, there's 3 different, versions of a story that involve kind of the same god/goddesses. So Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love, and her son Eros, are the star players in the Greco-Roman story, and this comes from a Roman librarian / author guy named Hyginus. And actually, he has a minor planet named after him, the 12155 Hyginus.
Hey.
Cheers, Hyginus. Thanks for the stories and thanks for all the fish. So his story with Aphrodite and Eros, it's they were visiting Syria I don't know why Aphrodite and Eros would be visiting Syria, but I
Well,
guess
it's
they
not too
wanted a
far
little
away.
vacation from Mount Olympus or some shit. And they had to flee from the monster Typhon. And they did this by leaping into the Euphrates and turning into fish.
So, Iraq or Syria?
Syria.
I guess the Euphrates is. I mean, I just associate it with Iraq.
Oh, no. Syria is what it said. So that's the simplest first story. They just ran and jumped into the river and turned into fish. And then I guess, people saw fish in the sky and went, oh, this is that story right there. That's Aphrodite and Eros.
That was like the shortest story ever.
Right? Now, of course, Greco-Roman constellation, so Aphrodite and Eros are known by other names to the Romans. So this is for all you guys out there thinking about Rome constantly, apparently. Venus and Cupid, the Roman versions of them.
I never think about Rome.
I think about Rome more than you think about Rome.
Yeah, and I saw it in the notes, and I was like, oh yeah, I think, guys think about Rome. But then I did not think, I forgot all about it until
Never
you
thought
just
of Rome
mentioned
again. It's just weird. But anyway, so Venus and Cupid in the Roman version were carried away from the monster on the backs of two fish.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Those are nice fish.
I know, they're nice fish, I mean, did they use godly magic powers and maybe force the fish to carry them away? We won't know, and we'll never know because it never actually happened. Now, the third story basically says that an egg rolled into the Euphrates. Some fish nudged it over to shore. Doves sat on the egg until Aphrodite hatched out of it. And the fish were then rewarded by being turned into a constellation.
Jeez, okay.
So the
There's a lot going on with that.
helped Aphrodite be born into this world, and because
Isn't
of
there-
that, they were placed amongst the stars for all to view them for eternity.
Isn't there like a picture of Aphrodite like in a clamshell or something though?
Yeah, I think there is to her origin story that she is born from
That's
like the
clamshell.
sea or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just, hey, let's put her in a clamshell and just not the fish.
She's known for her clam, so. I'm going to give myself that one. Everyone take a drink.
The thing is, though, it did pop in the back of my head, but I didn't say it. And you ran with it.
Of course I do. Of course I wrote with it. And that story was also, it's peer-reviewed, actually. It's also written by, it was recorded also by the Third Vatican mythographer. Because they have those. They have mythographers. And the third one also recorded this story, I guess. I don't know.
So, okay, all right. So it's just dudes that write myths. Write down
yeah,
myths.
basically. I mean, Hyginus, his whole thing was like he wrote down. He had this astronomical. It was like something like astronomical poetries, and then he had something else called like something that had to do with fables or whatever. So he wrote down like a bunch of these like stories. Now I don't know if he's took them from somewhere, being a librarian and stuff, or he was just compiling them into these kind of books of story. Fabulae is the one. Like fable, fabulae, and a nebulae spelling.
Oh, okay.
But make it like that. All right. Now, of course, we don't want to focus on just Western culture, non-Western culture.
I should have named my drink the Mythographer.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, see, that would be Brandon's perfect job. Him and all his typewriters. He can be typewriting on all his 20 typewriters at once, being a mythographer.
Brandon, how many typewriters you got? Put it in chat. Go.
So Pisces in Chinese astronomy is actually several different constellations. A bunch of stars of Pisces are known as Wai Ping, which was a fence that kept a pig farmer from falling into the marshes and kept the pigs in. So he has 6 typewriters. So a bunch of the stars in Pisces, I don't know which ones they are, they're a fence. It's probably the balloon strings. of Pisces. They're the fence keeping a pig farmer and his pigs in from falling into the marsh. And then the marshes are represented by 4 stars, which is designated Phi Ceti. And then the northern part, northern fish part is a house of sandal, Ku Siu. I don't know. So I'm guessing we have the house, we have the marshes, and then we have the pig farmer with his pigs in the fenced area doing his pig farming.
I mean,
nothing to do with fishes.
Well, I mean, it was in
because
China,
why
right?
would they? Why would they even see the same things? Because they have a different culture, different way of life, different needs of what they need to see in the sky.
But this is like very like everyday
thing. Well, I mean, the southern hemisphere, you got telescopium.
Well, no, yeah, I'm not saying anything. In fact, it's like a celebration of they're seeing like normal, quote unquote, normal shit up there, and
well, there's a pig farm, a lot of pig shit.
Yeah, they're not making
that pig shit is M74 and
they're not making up any gods or anything like that or origin stories and things like that. And so,
well, that's just for Pisces. I don't know about the rest of the sky. Anyway, of course, there's not just stars that make up constellations or asterisms in the sky. There's also planets. Planetes.
Wandering stars.
Wandering stars.
Because they move.
They do. They move around the sun just like we do. All together in one big happy planetary family. With the stuff occasionally trying to kill us like asteroids and comets. Anyway.
Meanwhile, we're just trying to kill ourselves.
Yes, that's true. So, one of my favorites, good old Jupy Joops, as he's lovingly known here on the show.
That's his official name, Jupy Joops.
That is its official name, Joops.
It shows up in the astronomical literature everywhere. Jupy Joops.
If I was ever on Jeopardy and Jupiter was the answer, I would immediately answer with, what is Jupy Joops? And then quickly say Jupiter after it. But I would just want to squeeze in that Jupy Joops there.
Which when we were watching the Celebrity Jeopardy the other day, you did say that because Jupiter was an answer. And so...
All right, so Jupiter, of course, it rises at sunset, the beginning of November. And that's because it is at opposition in the beginning of November. So sun goes down, Jupiter comes up. It's on the opposite end.
Yeah, pretty much it means that it's, on the opposite end of the sky from the sun. And and it's actually the closest we will get to Jupiter this year.
Oh, the close. Well, not true because we have a robotic arm out there called Juno, so we're closer than ever to Jupiter. But yes, okay.
But for
it's the closest the planet Earth will be to
normal
Jupiter.
lads and lasses like us.
Yes, we get to be our closer. So it's the biggest and brightest. We'll see it all year long because we are at our closest point in our orbit.
So to answer your mom's question, if she's looking towards the east, then she's seeing Jupiter. But their house faces north, right? And so I'm trying to think of the orientation and what she's seeing.
Yeah, it's probably Jupiter because I think Venus is early morning right now, if it's even up. Well, it comes up later. It comes up, Venus is going to be around sunrise because we'll get to that. Anyway. All right.
Oh, there we go.
End of November, the 24th and 25th, so right around turkey belly filling time for those of you that eat the turkeys, the celebration of Thanksgiving. It will be happening here in the United States of America, where we have a really weird notion of what holidays mean. But it'll be bright and hanging out with the moon. So Jupiter's going to be getting mooned at the end of November.
Okay, all right. It's on my left as I look to the backyard. All right, so that means it's in the east. It's in the east, so it's Jupiter.
It's Jupiter. Well, I was just visualizing my parents' backyard.
I know. I have to visualize it, and I have to think about like where north is and all that kind of stuff. But I also was laughing at we have a really weird sense of what holidays are.
We all know what. Look, God, we all know. All right. Next up with the big boys, Saturn.
My favorite.
Mike's favorite planet, the one with the ring. Well, all the gas giants have rings, but the one with the best rings, the most visible rings, fantastical rings. It's actually hanging out with the fish Pisces.
Woohoo!
Go Saturn. And if you have anything that does like binoculars or anything with
Magnitude. Magnification.
Thank you. Magnification. I wanted to say magnificent,
Okay, but Saturn is magnificent.
It is magnificent. Anything with a magnification 30 times can see the rings.
Now, for everybody, binoculars today are just as strong as what Galileo had in the 1600s, right? So, binoculars should be able to, at least really good binoculars, should be able to show you the rings.
So, Dad, whip out those binoculars you've got.
Yeah.
You can check it out.
And even the worst telescope you could buy at Walmart will show you the rings.
We should bring out my telescope, and so we gotta use my little telescope.
Yeah. So, yeah. We should do a whole episode at Christmas, like right after Thanksgiving, about buying telescopes.
We should, because that's a good idea. I don't know if we've ever talked about that before.
Not buying telescopes, no.
What?
No.
Not buying telescopes.
Right.
All right, yeah. All right, so also November 9th, the Moon and Venus will be conjunctioning together. There will be a conjunction of the Moon and Venus at 5 a.m., about 24 degrees up. Your fist is what, 10 degrees?
Oh, shit. Is it? Oh.
I think your fist is 10 degrees, so you got about maybe like 2.5 fists up from your horizon, maybe?
10 seems big.
Okay, or is it 5?
I
Brandon,
think it's
correct
5.
us. Is it 5 degrees?
I want to say it's 5.
Your fist is a certain amount of degrees that you can use to help measure.
Yeah, I want to say 5
sky.
because your thumb will cover the moon, and the moon is either a half a degree or a degree. So.
Okay, well, you can
5
use your
at the
fist.
most.
But November 9th is the conjunction of the Moon and Venus at 5 a.m. if you want to wake up at that early in the morning, which we'll probably be up if we're working.
This is 10, I think.
Oh.
What
Your
is this in
10's going
Hawaii?
to be bigger than Hang Loose.
Well, yeah, but they have a name for it.
Oh. I don't think we're allowed to say it because we're white. Your 10 degrees is going to be bigger than my 10 degrees.
That is true. That is true.
So it's in a rough estimate of degreeage, using your hands to measure the sky. All right, now there are a couple events up there in the sky for November. Daylight savings time ends. All right, for those wacky states that still do daylight savings time, move your clocks, which is everybody but like Arizona and like
parts of Indiana,
somewhere,
and then Hawaii.
It's ridiculous. Everybody, we just need to stop it. But that's on Sunday, November 5th, where we fall back. We lose an hour.
Thank God. I mean,
I know, yeah.
Okay, here's the thing though. I do, maybe it's from my time in Phoenix. I want the sun to go down sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
I'm like Gollum going into the cave. I don't know if we have to take a drink for that, but
no, we do, because you mentioned Lord of the Rings. So yeah.
Where I forget the name of the sun and I just go underground, and that's where I live for the rest of my life. And so
we got these
fucking
gnats.
fruit flies.
Yeah, these fruit flies are just everywhere.
We've moved to Oregon, and all there are fruit flies, and I'm ready to move.
Well, maybe when we fall back, when we move the clocks back, the fruit flies will. Anyway.
I doubt it.
But, of course, with any month comes a full moon. And November's moon, since we were talking about clams earlier, is the full beaver moon. I'm just going to let that one sit for a minute and just let everybody make up their own little middle school joke in their head.
We're all in middle school, right?
November 27th at 4:16 in the morning is when the moon is at its fullest.
Is that our time? UT time?
I don't know. It just said that. I think it's local time.
Okay.
It didn't give a specification on the time when I was looking this
All right,
up.
so on the 27th.
Just on the 27th, full moon is getting beavered. And apparently, this is the time of year when beavers take shelter for the long winter ahead. So they're packing it up, boys. Oh, see, we do have 2 pumpkins out front, but they're everywhere anyway, those fruit flies. All right. Now, there's also meteor showers. A couple meteor showers in November.
We can leave. We're moving to
You know.
New Zealand. We're going to Middle Earth. That's where we're moving. I can't do fruit flies anymore.
All right. You got to shower your beavers. So on November 11th through 12th, we have the Taurid meteor shower, and that's the peak of the Taurids, which will appear as if they're coming from the constellation of Taurus, the bull, a very bright, well-known, beautiful wintertime constellation. But this one will only have about a few per hour in the pre-dawn sky.
I mean, how do you distinguish that from, just normal, a few per hour that you get just as background meteors?
I'm sure they have a way because they know that, they know we're passing through the debris
of a
comet. I don't know which comet. I didn't look up which comets they're coming from. So they must know which are coming from, especially since, if they're coming from that radiant point, which is where they appear to originate from.
Can you imagine, like, the first dude who's like, oh, man, okay, so we usually see, like, 3 per hour. Oh, man, we're up to 5. We got a full-on shower, boys. The
sky is raining.
You do have to watch it for like a few years to go, okay, we really do actually have an actual meteor, because there was a little bump.
Yeah.
So.
And this, like with exoplanets, you gotta watch them a few years to really confirm that, there's a planet orbiting that star, and dimming the light. There's going to be, I'm sure, tons of golf in New Zealand. It seems like a ripe area for golf.
Actually,
people listening to this, if they're just listening to this and not watching this, then they can't see the chat. They're just like, what are they talking about? All right, another meteor shower, a little bit better. The Leonids. The Leonids peak on November 18th through 19th. And this one, it's not like a super active meteor shower. But it's a little bump. You got about 10 to 15 per hour after midnight. And you want to look furthest away from the moon for this one.
Right. Well, that goes for any meteor shower.
Well, yeah. Because then you'll see it. You'll resolve them better in your eyeballs.
But
because the moon's bright.
I know this is not this month's, but December is just going to have a good one.
Ooh, which one's in December? Is this not the Orion?
Okay.
It's not the Orionids. We already
No. It's the Geminids.
Do we already have the Geminids?
Well, you had the Perseids and the Geminids. Those are the big ones. One is in August.
Perseids. I think we had the Perseids.
Perseids in August, which is a big one, but the Geminids in December is always great.
So,
but you have to wait a month.
Yeah. But
See us in a month.
If you're hanging out around the 11th and 12th or the 18th and 19th and you're outside and you want to just kind of, just relax and look at the stars and feel one with the cosmos, if you see some shooting stars, then you know what you're seeing. You're seeing a little bit of the meteor shower. So there you go. It's always a fun sight.
Yeah, and go out and look. Seriously.
It's always cool because Brandon was out visiting us at CwC headquarters here, and we were going to bed one night, and Brandon was going to stay out and look at the sky because it was like the one night where it was kind of clear, like the clouds weren't as bad. And then I went out there because he said he could kind of see the Milky Way, and so I go out, and then we both see a meteor, and we're both like, whoa! And then I go back inside, and then to Mike, who's laying on the bed, and I was like, we saw a meteor. He's like, yeah, I could tell. I figured by the reaction.
But seriously, all right, so this is like Mike goes on a comment, but seriously, go out and look at the night sky. If you have an opportunity to do it, where you can see like a clear, really dark night sky, do it.
If it becomes nighttime in your area and there are no clouds, go outside and look
wait a
up.
minute. It has to be from a dark location.
Oh, I thought you were just saying in general.
No.
Look
Well,
at
no,
the night
okay.
sky and appreciate your night sky.
In general, yes. In general, go out and appreciate it and all that kind of stuff. But, like, find out when an astronomy club's doing their
Oh,
thing.
yeah, like a star party or go out until, like,
And
very dark.
go out and it really does connect you to the universe in a way that you, I guess, really aren't expecting. A lot of the troubles of the world kind of just melt away a little bit. And I guarantee you that if we had more people going out looking at the night sky, there'd be more world peace.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
And, I mean, the FRB is working.
Yeah. Well, I just noticed we kind of match. You got orange pants, and I got my orange boot pants on, and then we both have a shirt that has just a black with white outlining on it.
Yeah, except
anyway.
Yours is Katie's.
Yeah. Oh, and for those of you
is...
watching, check out Wildixia, Wildixia. This is some of her art on my chest right here. It's cool shit.
And this will be on my skin eventually. It's going to be a tattoo I get.
I got him that shirt. Anyway, news! Not only is there stuff happening in the sky, there's also news that happens with astronomy. Some news stories that have come out recently that are popping.
Just a few.
That are hopping. Just a few. I found some fun ones. But James Webb Space Telescope, master of all things, is now providing us with a better understanding of KBOs, which are also known as Kuiper Belt objects. You really want to tell them about my spelling error, don't you? Go for it.
No. All right. So I'm looking over the notes, and in it says KPOs, which I think the P is a long way from the B.
Aren't
but
KPOs like something in business? Like
I think so, but I was
we gotta get our KPOs.
I'm like, all right, I haven't heard of this one. I'm gonna have to look that up later. But then Liz comes in, and she's like, saying something about it all, and I'm like, did you mean KBOs with that?
Yes.
And it was.
Yes,
I really wasn't meaning to tell everybody, but
okay. Well, you're laughing, so I'm like, you have it inside of you. You need to release it. So KBOs.
it's not really anxiety. But...
Kuiper Belt objects. There's some familiar ones we know of, like Pluto, Eris, Makemake. But most people most people know Pluto. Okay, Pluto is a Kuiper Belt object. It is located with a region of our solar system known as the Kuiper Belt, which is where most of the long-term comets are. The long-term comets are in the Oort cloud. Short-term comets are hanging out. But Pluto and these other Pluto and some familiar friends that are very similar in size and shape, they're a little unusual to comets, being that they are bigger than comets. They are spherical and being spherical is the key because they're have enough gravity to turn them into a sphere, and so they're not quite comets. They're now known as dwarf planets.
If they're round, yeah.
If they're round. So these objects out there, we don't really know a lot about them. In fact, the first time we really ever got to truly learn about Pluto and actually really do some major scientific study of Pluto is when we had the New Horizons spacecraft fly by Pluto in 2008. That was our first up-close view of Pluto.
2015?
20...
I think it launched... Wait a minute, launched in 06 or 08?
Oh,
but it flew... Because we were in Hawaii, right?
Oh, yeah. When did it fly by? Was it 2015? God,
2015.
I cannot with years anymore. But it flew by, and we got to learn that Pluto was a lot more active than we thought it would be. It wasn't just this frozen, dead world of ices, that there was actually sublimation. We knew there was sublimation happening, but there was a resurfacing happening so that it's warm enough somehow in the interior to have to not be completely frozen and to have some of this liquid ice material come up to the surface, and it has evidence of cryovolcanoes and all this really cool shit that's going on. And so it means so then astronomers are like, well, if this cool shit's happening on Pluto, what are these other, Kuiper Belt objects doing? What are they like? What is going on out there? What is causing some of these objects to not be completely frozen to their cores, to have something internal happening inside of there? So, James Webb, of course, uses infrared to be able to see the universe in a way that we, don't see naturally. We have to have special technologies like James Webb to see different things that are going on, to learn what we can and really understand the universe around us. So there are 3 Kuiper Belt objects that are very much like Plutes and Buds. Sedna, Gong Gong.
I love that name.
And Quaror, which makes me just think like Quarks or something, like Quarks Bar or something.
Yeah.
It's like a Ferengi name. Quaror. These are also known as Neptunian objects, or TNOs. And so they actually cross the orbit of Neptune. In fact, for, I forget 20 years, Pluto is closer to the sun in its orbit than Neptune is.
And it happened 1979 to 1999. It was closer.
Yeah, so Pluto was technically, during that time, when it was categorized as a planet, it was technically the 8th planet.
8th planet.
And Pluto would have been, or
Neptune
would
was
have been
the most
9th,
distant planet in the solar system.
Yeah, which is wild. So they decided to use James Webb to study these 3 TNOs. And that's actually part of James Webb's objectives, is to study solar system objects to help us learn more about our own backyard, because to be honest, we really don't know that much about it, surprisingly. And so in a preprint of a paper that is being reviewed for publish right now by the journal Icarus, research that was led by Joshua Emery. He's an associate professor of astronomy and planetary science at NAU, Northern Arizona University.
Arizona.
And a bunch of other researchers had joined on with this project. They used near infrared, and they wanted to see if there were similarities in these objects with other observations about Pluto, Eris, Haumea, Makemake, which they've shown they've retained these volatile ices on their surfaces. And so they want to see if the same thing's going on with these other objects. And so what they found was that all 3 had an abundance of ethane, Sedna having the most. And ethane is a byproduct of methane. So that means that the methane... there's methane that's basically being resurfaced on the surfaces of these objects, and that methane then basically sublimates. It gets broken up and forms more complex molecules such as ethane. And so the methane that is producing this basically is not of a primordial origin, meaning it's not from the formation of the solar system, but instead there's something happening inside of these 3 objects that is making the methane, keeping the methane going.
It's not, what do you put in the notes? It's not what kind of?
I forgot. It's being replenished by ice cows. It's ice cows, everybody. It's just ice cows. That's all it is. It's ice cows that are just farting their icy methane farts.
Okay. Now, that being said, no evidence that it's life. It's not life.
Yeah, no, it's not a methane in a life sort of way. It's
it's not ice cows in a life kind of way.
And so these findings are actually consistent with separate research that has been performed as well. So peer review for the win. That's what we like. And it indicated that that there is a kind of a size for these KBOs where they can be warm enough for interior reprocessing of primordial ices, according to Emery.
Did Emery say what that size is?
the size of these objects, at least.
Typically like Pluto, Sedna.
These sizes of objects.
Gong.
Yeah, and really, also the bottom line to this is that James Webb basically has opened up a whole new wavelength range for this research. Which is great. They can't hear. Can you hear the vibrating from my phone? You guys over there in the podcast? Brandon is just texting us pictures from Hawaii. That's all he's doing right now. I mean, jeez.
Oh, okay.
Oh God, look. God, look at that. It's Brandon's view of a beach. It's gorgeous.
Remove the vibrate because I can't be looking at beaches.
I'm gonna keep it on vibrate. But all right, are you ready to get psyched?
I'm ready to get psyched.
Are you guys ready to get psyched?
I'm ready to move to Hawaii,
I know we're psyched about the beaches. Brandon, stop texting us in the middle of the show, Brandon. All right, but I'm psyched about Psyche. Yes, we have a spacecraft called Psyche that has launched. It launched on October 13th, and it's heading to an asteroid called Psyche. And basically, it's gonna take a 6-year journey. So in 2029, the spacecraft gets to this asteroid. This is actually an Arizona State University project in conjunction with NASA. ASU has a huge space exploration program.
All of Arizona, really.
All of Arizona is a hotbed for astronomy, which is surprising.
NAU.
But this is a metallic asteroid, and the goal is to see if this metallic asteroid is basically what was once a planetesimal, all right, the beginning core of what could have been a planet in our solar system, but the outer layers, had gotten knocked off from all the chaos and debris flying around as the solar system was forming. So that's the goal, is to see if that's what this asteroid is. Now, if it's not a planetesimal, if it's not the core of what could have been a planet, then that means it could then be a totally new type of object, class of object, I could say, can say, in our solar system. So it's really kind of, it's rare to find a piece of a planetary building block, which is what Psyche could be, and is why everybody is so psyched about this mission. All right, so in 2029, the spacecraft will get there, and we'll be able to learn more about our early solar system.
Oh, cool.
And how planets formed, really. Now, speaking of spacecrafts, time to snap into a Slim lander, that is, called Slim. It is a Japanese spacecraft.
I'm sorry, but all I hear is...
Snap into a Slim!
Yeah, Macho, Randy Savage, Slim Jimps. I'm sorry. All right, go ahead. Continue. I've got that out, so please continue.
By the way, Brandon is on Oahu, for those of you who want to go find him. Anyway, my mom asked in chat, is that the only one they've identified as metallic? No, there are other metallic asteroids and objects out there, but there's something, I don't know what it is about this one particularly, but generally metallic asteroid, it means it's not just like, you have your more kind of rubble pile asteroids that are just like stuff that had like come together and is bound loosely together with gravity, but these metallic ones have had enough time and enough heat and enough pressure to begin to form, I would say, a planet, a core of a planet.
Oh, well, yeah,
or knocked off.
Okay, no, yeah. If you had enough of them, so if you had a bunch of these are the guys that were going to settle down. Most likely, if they're iron and nickel in the core.
Yeah, they would have been able to form the cores of planets.
And so if you look at our Earth, our planet, the Earth. Our core is mainly iron and nickel, and that iron and nickel probably originated from the accretion of these metallic type asteroids like Psyche.
And they were able to stick together and come together long enough that eventually got too big for anything to really break it apart in entirety. It just had a little brief collision that formed our moon, but we were big enough that we were able to survive that impact.
Yeah, it knocked off enough material to form the moon, but we also coalesced with that object, which is called Theia, I believe, and maybe Earth's a little bit bigger, but also made our core bigger than like Venus, Venus's core, which is about the same size as the Earth, a little smaller, but our core is, from what we can tell, bigger than what Venus has.
But anyway, back to Slim.
Slim.
This is a Japanese smart lander for investigating moon. Slim, smart lander for investigating moon.
So basically, we have taken our propensity for these acronyms and just exported it out to other countries.
Of course. So this is a JAXA, Japanese. That's the Japanese NASA, basically. This lander for the moon is basically a test of an efficient, smart, easy way, seamless way, very accurate way of landing on the moon. In fact, the whole thing is about accuracy, and that accuracy relating to then saving fuel and by having a lower payload weight, essentially. Currently, it's carrying a couple of rovers. And what it's doing is it's taking like this long looping route to save fuel and therefore mass. So it actually started by entering low Earth orbit as a joint launch with the XRISM X-ray Space Observatory. And then it made a translunar injection burn and did a moon flyby. So it was like, hey moon, bye, I'll be back. That's what it did. It flew by the moon and now is being flung out into deep space. Not deep space, I would say, but it's deep space in this long looping orbit to then come back for an end of December landing. I couldn't find like an exact date of when the landing's supposed to be, but it referenced the end of December, so I'm assuming that's when it's gonna happen. And its goal is to land at Scioli Crater within 330 feet of the target spot. Hopefully. And usually, I mean, landing on the moon, they can be like miles away from their target landing spot, and this is supposed to be supposed to be within a football field and really kind of just narrow down that accuracy of landing on the moon for future missions. If this is successful, Japan becomes the 5th country to land on the moon, which would be awesome. In
case you're wondering, U.S., Soviet Union, China, India. Yep.
Wait, that makes 5 though.
No, it makes 4.
Oh,
Japan will be the 5th.
Oh, you didn't add your thumb in. Okay. But it has a couple rovers that'll do some science that'll go roving out there. But the Slim itself will only gonna last one lunar day, because then it's gonna get cold and all that stuff's gonna. It's not designed to like stick around or like relaunch and come back or anything.
So one lunar day is about 28 Earth days. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, that's a lot longer than now.
Well, I mean,
I didn't think about that.
So
right.
One lunar day is because
because
it's tidally locked with the Earth. Is how long it takes for it to go around the Earth. So 1 month.
1 month.
1 month. 28 days roughly.
1 month. It'll last 1 month. That's actually pretty good. So that'll be great. That'll be good if it's successful. Then a new way for landing on the moon and eventually landing people on there, I assume.
Nice. You want to get to my drink name? The FRB.
The Oh, you want to skip the one about flowers?
Well, I'm just thinking time here.
Oh.
Because it's 2:00.
I know, because I've talked too much. All right, I'm going to do this one in a nutshell. Okay, I'm just going to do this one really short, okay? But, okay, the butcher this, Mahidol University in Thailand, they released a study where watermeal plants, which are the tiniest flowering plants, they basically look like little green slimy dots. They're no bigger than a pinhead, essentially. But these could be an ideal source of oxygen and protein, aka food, for future astronauts. They basically have been doing these studies to simulate how these plants, which are called watermeal. Did I say that? I don't think I did. Watermeal. They're a staple actually of Thailand diet. So they're used in like soups and all different things. Okay, so it's part of their culture, and they've been able to simulate basically 20 times the Earth's gravity and have observed that no change happens really with the plants. Like, it doesn't affect them at all, which means that, you know, they basically just grow in water. They don't need soil. They don't need fertilizer. They don't need...
Yeah, there's no roots and stems.
There's no roots or stems or anything.
It's just a lily pad.
They just exist.
With nothing else.
They just exist. They just exist in water, so you can, like, just easily grow a shit ton of this and just eat it off your fingers. I don't know.
Oh, but also the oxygen.
Yeah, it's a plant, so it's going to produce oxygen as well. So, and yeah, more for the ice cows.
Yep. All right, cool.
All right, FRBs.
In a nutshell.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Take a drink.
There we go. 8-billion-year-old radio signal was spotted, captured, seen, not heard.
Not heard. Well, unless you're Ellie in contact.
Yeah. By the in Australia, Aussie mate. Good day, mate. The telescope in Australia, it picked up this powerful blast of radio waves on June 10th of last year, actually. It lasted less than 1,000th of a second. And this is known as an FRB.
Fast radio burst.
Fast radio burst.
Or fuck you up real fast. I don't know how to make fast a B.
Yeah. And there's little understood about these fast radio bursts, these FRBs that are detected. But this one was more powerful and further away than any FRB that had been detected before. And in that fraction of a second, again, it was less than 1/10 of 1,000th of a second, there was the same amount of energy released that the sun releases over 30 years.
Which is, all right, when I read that article, I was like, that is just amazing.
That is an incomprehensible amount of energy.
I mean, think about that again.
To my human brain.
This lasted for less than 1,000th of a second.
Mm-hmm.
But it released enough energy, the equivalent energy of the sun, what it releases in 30 years.
Yeah. 30 years worth of the sun's energy in less than whatever move I could ever make.
Yeah.
What's the speed of blinking?
Oh, that's a good question, but wait a minute. When they have the Olympics, do they do like thousandths of a second when people are running? Do they measure that?
I don't know. I don't know.
But I mean, it's quicker than that.
Yeah, but yeah, oh yeah, especially now. But oh yeah, and this is most likely from a distant dead star that has a shit ton of magnetic energy, known as a magnetar, which is just such a fun.
Who's just saying about magnetars?
Nirvana has Nirvana. I just like magnetar. It's just fun. So they use the VLT, the Very Large Telescope, in Chile, to find out where this FRB came from. And it came from this clumpy galaxy a clumpy galaxy. I like that. Clumpy galaxy. That is possibly a galaxy that's merging with one or two other galaxies. I mean, we have a three-way happening with our own Milky Way right now. Am I right? See out there, LNS Magellanic Clouds.
God, there's been... All right, whatever.
And so their best hunch, according to Ryan Shannon, an astrophysicist at the Australian Swinburne University, Swinburne. Yeah, there's no E after the Swinburne.
Big pig burns.
Swinburne. That the merger of these galaxies could possibly create a magnetar, and that's their best hunch at the moment. So I say fuck cowbell. We need more radio telescopes.
We do. But now I have Will. What's his name? Will.
Yep, that's the goal, is to bring that into your brain because we all know we need more cowbell. But in this case, we need more radio telescopes.
We do.
To learn more about these.
I mean, we need a lot more telescopes.
Now, I mentioned earlier that James Webb Space Telescope did some cool shit with some KBOs. But it's at it again! James Webb with Joopy Joops. James Webb has been taking a look at Jupes, and they found there is this high-speed equatorial jet. So a high-speed jet stream that is around the equator of Jupiter. That is traveling at about it's 24 miles above the clouds in the stratosphere, or 40 kilometers for those who use every other number system in the world.
It's everybody else but us.
Yes.
Even England, who ours is based on.
Yeah, the imperial
uses the metric system.
It used to be seen as kind of this blurry haze, like by Hubble and the other telescopes. But now James Webb is able to resolve it into a clearer feature that they can track as Jupiter rotates. And they have found that it travels at about 320 miles per hour, or 515 kilometer per hour, which is twice that of a Cat 5 hurricane here on Earth.
Cat 5.
Cat 5 cable hurricane. A category.
Does that make it category 10? I
guess it's twice a Cat 5, and 5 plus 5 is 10.
I grew up in the South, and we had hurricanes.
I don't know what the magnitude level is. Like the Richter scale is I don't know what.
Yeah, what was it? The Richter scale is 50 times whatever the previous number was.
Yeah, there's something. So then we got some teamwork happening with this one, because then Hubble jumps in.
Hey.
He's like, hey Webb, let me help you out, buddy. So Hubble jumps in as a supporting player the next day to determine basically the base state of Jupiter's equatorial atmosphere, and then observe storms that aren't connected to the jet. And so what you can say is teamwork makes the science work.
All right.
But wait!
There's more.
There's more James Webb Space Telescope. We're not done. This is what happens when James Webb has hit the cosmic scene. At it again. James Webb. It's part of it, when it was first taking some pictures. The first images of the earliest galaxies were real confusing to astronomers, because the earliest galaxies, these are galaxies that are within a few 100 million years of the Big Bang, which is also referred to as the Cosmic Dawn. And I don't know if we've discussed this before, but that is a great band name.
That is a great band name.
Cosmic Dawn.
I mean, it's not
punk.
I want
a band just to call it Cosmic Dawn.
This is more of a metal band.
It's definitely a metal band.
This is a metal band.
Yeah, it's like a Norwegian metal band.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey, punk can't claim this one. This is all you guys.
Yeah. So baby, newborn galaxies, essentially. These are young galaxies, or the oldest galaxies, depending on how we're looking at it right now. And they are too bright. They're too big. They're too evolved enough, so to speak, to be that old, from that early in the solar system, or in the universe's formation in essence. And so astronomers are like, the standard model is fucked up. Everything we knew is wrong. The Big Bang's wrong. Things are going haywire. This shouldn't be. This should not be. So after having some time to kind of study this data that they got from James Webb and study the images of these galaxies, what they're currently hypothesizing is that these galaxies are exhibiting what they're calling busty star formation. That's a very feminist episode, I must say. We've got clams, beavers, and now some busts. Bursty star formation. Bursty star formation. I don't know what's happening to my brain today then.
Middle school.
Middle school has happened. So bursty or busty star formation, however you want it. This is where star formation is happening in kind of bursts and is producing these flashes of light that are very bright. And they use computer simulations as part of the FIRE project. This is the Feedback of Relativistic Environments project. So they put all the environmental data, all the numbers into the computer and let the computer use its imagination to come up with what's happening using complex math. And
I think going forward, every one of our episodes should be acronyms.
Just all acronyms. The whole episode is just acronyms. We're just talking in acronyms. So the computer simulations show that this bursty star formation is possible, as to what could be the cause of these galaxies looking so bright and so big and more involved. And so that means there's like intense periods of star birth, and then star birth and death, so to speak, because, comes in with a bang, goes out with a bang, for some of them at least. But you would have bigger stars. You would have a lot more.
Well, not necessarily.
Not necessarily?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No.
Well, anyway. So you have this intense period of star birth and death, followed by a longer, quieter, periods in the galaxy with not a lot happening. Claude Andre Falcher-Guiguere, that's an astronomer at Northwestern. He said that bursty star formation is especially common in low-mass galaxies. And though research on the subject will be ongoing, he said that what we think happens is that a burst of stars form, then a few million years later, those stars explode as supernovae. Mm-hmm. The gas gets kicked out and then falls back in, which then starts new stars to form again. It just drives this cycle of star formation.
And I do really like this hypothesis, this line of thought. Mm-hmm. Because, as your mom asked, are we challenging the laws of physics? Well, we were up until this hypothesis, mm-hmm. and it. I don't know if there's like snoring going on.
They're wrestling.
They're wrestling. All right. So, I do like this because it's the simpler It explains it in a simpler terms.
Uh-huh. Is it elegant?
I'm not gonna go so far as to say it's elegant, but it's simpler, and Jack's barking.
I mean, it's not a bark. It's more of a play with me.
But it's a simpler It's a simpler way of explaining the things that we're seeing, and it doesn't involve new laws of physics.
Yeah, because if this explanation is confirmed, then it would avoid any required revisions or adjustments to the standard model of cosmology. So,
and as much as I want new laws of physics, mm-hmm. I want them. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily want them in this particular case. Because
it fucks up the whole universe.
Yeah, because to me, like what I want with new laws of physics have to do with like quantum
Yeah,
relativity.
you want there to be new particles and stuff.
I want new
You like new
particles.
particles.
But, this is like, can we explain this in what we currently know and understand? And it looks like we are.
Not
You
really
get 'em,
explosion
Jack.
with implosion. It's more like the stars form all together because there's all this gas and dust swirling around, and then they're born and it's quiet for a bit. Then they explode, releasing all this gas dust. But the gravity of the galaxy, then that gas and dust doesn't get ejected from the
No.
galaxy. It comes back down, and the gravity then starts coalescing that material all over again into new stars.
Yeah, and it makes sense that these stars would form about the same time, and that since they're how long you live is based on your mass, that they would
Explode.
detonate
Yeah,
at
it's like
the same time.
the Pleiades star cluster. The Seven Sisters, Subaru in Japan. There's hundreds of stars in the star cluster, but we see like these prominent, like seven, so to speak. But these are all stars that form together out of the same cloud of gas and dust. So they're going to follow the same trajectory timelines throughout those stars' lives for the
Yeah,
most
and
part.
if you have two stars in the Pleiades that have the same mass, they will end their lives at the same time. That's the way physics works.
Poetic.
So,
Physics
no
is
new
poetic.
physics.
That's kind of nice. Well, on that note.
Oh, well, Brandon said that's a bark, so he says we have to drink.
All right, final drink of the episode before we go to the hangover, or you just stop listening to this episode.
I love how Jack goes, that sounds reasonable as somebody who does not drink alcohol.
Well, thanks for getting high with us, everyone, in the sky for November 2023 on this episode of Cosmos with Cosmos. Of course, you can follow us on all the things at Drinking Cosmos on the Twitex and Cosmos with Cosmos everywhere else.
Oh, what?
Twitex. This is my
Twitex.
compromise. Twitex.
I think we do not compromise. It's Twitter. It's Twitter.
Anyway,
Follow us on all
where
the
are we?
things.
Oh yeah, you can listen to us where you get your podcasts, or watch us on YouTube, and stick around if you're with us for the hangover, or you can come back and check out the hangover episodes later. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Cheers.
Peace.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
We'll be right back. Woo! Hey! Oh, sorry, I bumped you.
What?
I'm sorry I bumped you.
You didn't bump me.
Okay.
That was weird.
Felt like, okay. Welcome to The Hangover with Cosmos the Cosmos, everyone, and Jack. That sounds awesome. Between now and Halloween, Jack's going to have Iowa and Nebraska storytellers coming in for spooky stories under the dome.
Why is that not updating with that?
That's not updating with that.
All right.
And they tell him the environment they want to tell the story in, and he projects it with the planetarium. I mean, that's really good. And then the restaurant management students running a gourmet s'mores bar for the kids. Oh. What? What?
Yeah, I made gourmet s'mores.
Gourmet s'mores. There we go. Okay, maybe that refreshed our other feed of the chat. Oh God, I'm jealous of that.
Roasted marshmallow dipped in raspberry.
Raspberry shell with a dark chocolate. Oh my God! Of course. Only Jack would think of doing elevated gourmet s'mores. That sounds amazing. Meanwhile, fucking Brandon's still texting us from Hawaii while listening. Here he is. Here's his happy little face on the beach of Hawaii listening to us. He says hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Brandon.
Okay, so I guess he's... Oh, he's over near
you're
Kailua.
on he's on the northwest side.
Yeah, so he's near Kaneohe, which is where I used to live.
That's cool.
Don't go in the bay. Has sharks.
Watch out for those sharks, everybody. Anyway.
Meanwhile, your mom wants to go to Iowa. I want to go to Hawaii.
She wants to go for the s'mores.
Yeah, I want to go to Hawaii.
I know, it's been a long time since we've been to Hawaii.
I want to live in Hawaii.
Oh my gosh. The beaches, the
wildfires, but I mean, we have that here.
Yeah, wildfires I would say are less common on Hawaii and more of a freak situation.
Maui had it.
Man, yeah, life's living it. You're living it rough right now, Brandon. But then again, I mean, the amount you travel, you deserve a little beach time.
But you leave in 8.5 hours.
I mean, but that's nice about having like such a late flight though from Hawaii is you basically get a whole extra day just to kind of tune in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So when I used to live in Hawaii, when I left there, it was basically an 8 o'clock flight, and and so it was. You got to enjoy one last day, basically, and you go to the airport. 6 o'clock, we'll say, and catch the flight. And it's a red eye, so overnight.
Which, I mean, the view is just water anyway.
And that's true.
As well sleep through
that's
it,
true.
You know?
And sleep through it, and
well,
it depends on the island.
Yeah, if you're on the Big Island, then
yes,
yeah.
Maui.
Is Maui's
not so much. I mean, Haleakala is still active.
It's active, okay. It's just not.
But it's kind of more of a dormant volcano.
Active, okay.
It's further from the hot spot, so it's chances of it going off are
less. Does Oahu have a volcano? I mean, it was obviously a volcano. They're all volcanic islands.
Yeah, but none of them are
erupting,
active in any kind of way.
Okay.
And the closest one is Hanauma Bay, which Brandon was he was near there yesterday. Hanauma Bay State Park is basically it's a volcano caldera.
Ah, yes.
And you can swim with the fish, and of course the hope is to see a turtle go by, but don't touch them. Don't touch them. It's illegal. In Hawaii, even if you're swimming.
Okay, if you accidentally step on one because it swims under you while you're swimming in the ocean and can't see it, I don't think that it counts as being illegal. It's not my fault the turtle swam under me and then I stepped on it thinking it was something to step on while I was swimming and couldn't see it. I did not mean to step on the honu.
Okay, I did not mean to have you incriminate yourself. But
come get me, Maui. Drag me back to your beaches in cuffs.
Oh shit! I mean, that's Yeah. But no, I mean, the judge would be like, no. I mean,
They
seriously, you didn't
That's
mean
not
to. But
Meanwhile, Jack thinks my mom would like a crushed toffee sandwiched between Oreos. The heat from the marshmallow melts on the toffee. Yum. I don't know if yum is as in yum or if that's a thing, Jack, but but our dog Jack's gonna start whining
yeah.
in a second. But oh my gosh, yeah, my mom would definitely like that. We have some Oreos. We don't have crushed toffee.
I mean, to
Or
be
marshmallows.
honest, if we
graham
were to
crackers.
if we were to go to Iowa, it really would just be to
Just to
Council
have
Bluffs.
it would have Jack. If we come, it's just to have you make us some cool shit to eat.
But no, but also then to go to his
Well,
planetarium.
yes, but primarily for you to make us some yummy treat.
Yeah, I mean, because every single drink you tell us that you're making, it's like, okay,
I'm like, that
what
sounds
alcohol
amazing.
can go with that? But
I don't even think of that. I'm just like, oh, I just want to taste that. I just want to put that in my
yeah,
mouth.
but usually it's in, we see this when it's Cosmos, right?
Yeah.
And so that's like, oh man, that could be a good drink to go with this thing that we do.
Thing.
All right, anyway, what are we
Mission?
doing?
Quest thing.
Oh god, we gotta take a drink.
We don't do the rules for.
We don't.
We
do
don't
we?
do the rules for Hangover, because I mean, but we'll take a drink anyway for that. It was a little bit of a Lord of the Rings.
It
reference.
was. I can see Pippin saying it.
Show. Pod. Thing. Anyway.
Oh yeah, we do need.
Oh,
take
you know
notes.
what? Speaking of volcanoes, I almost did a news story for the astronomy news section of the main show, where oh fuck, was it June? I don't know if it was Juno or it must have been June. Yeah, it was Juno, I think. That got some nice close-up pictures of Io.
I missed that.
Of the surface of Io. Got some good shots of the most volcanically active object in the entire solar system, this little moon of Jupiter's.
80 volcanoes going off at any given moment.
Any given moment. Any given time.
Any given time. That's because it gets warped and stretched by Jupiter and its fellow Galilean moons.
That's gravity. It's gravity. Gravity's strong.
Gravity
for being so weak.
What is it? It was something like the surface. Oh God, I'm gonna mess this up because
Of drinks.
but the surface goes like hundreds of feet.
Yeah, the
up and
surface
down
is like daily, right?
daily because of
It's like a very measurable.
yeah, it's because of tidal forces. The surface will go up and down hundreds of feet.
Yeah.
And that is what is
It's
warping it. It causes the core to it induces all this heat,
It's like the
which
moon.
makes it volcanic.
The tidal forces is the same principle of the moon's effect on the oceans. Those.
Yeah, and the same thing's happening on the Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, every day we go up and down, but
It's just not as noticeable.
No,
it's not
it's
like
something
whoa,
like-
everybody.
it's something like a centimeter. It's something very small.
I should
and
hope so, because anything more would probably be really
I know, right?
cataclysmic.
And so we don't feel it, and but still,
On
think about that,
Io,
the Earth.
That would be pretty wild to feel that and just be.
Yeah. It's like it's breathing.
It's like it's
exactly.
Yeah, it is kind of like it's breathing.
I know exactly, but the Earth does it as well. The Earth does it in two ways. The first way. All right, so one way is with the tidal forces, so going up and down. But the second way I never thought about until Al Gore said it in An Inconvenient Truth,
Wow.
where he shows the map of like carbon dioxide and stuff, and you'll notice that it's sawtooth. It's still going up, which we don't want it to do.
But at this point, we're fucked.
But it's sawtooth, and it is basically the northern hemisphere. You're telling it seasons basically because that's where most of the landmass is. It's where most of the trees are, and so they're absorbing most of the carbon dioxide. They're also releasing most of it, and the oxygen and stuff like that. But you see this sawtooth thing, and he equated it to the Earth taking a breath every year and then releasing it.
Oh, interesting.
And I never thought about it until that.
Until my mom made that comment?
No.
Oh.
No, I never
Until
thought about it.
Al Gore said that.
Until Al Gore said it. But
give my
your
mom
mom's
too much
saying it's like
credit
taking a breath.
Uh-huh.
It's like breathing.
Yeah.
And, there's different ways in which the Earth, quote unquote, takes a breath. And, daily, but also seasonally, that type of thing. So, all right, anyway, you're in charge.
I mean, it's nice. It's, starting to breathe off the leaves. As fall comes in and the leaves change.
And for us here in the northern hemisphere, we got leaves falling. There were some on the street when I drive about.
When you drive about. When we drive about.
There
are some leaves.
Like yesterday when I went to the local grocery store. I was coming back. I was like, oh, there's a bunch of leaves that have fallen. It's fall.
Because the leaves fall. Is that why we call it fall?
I guess. I don't really know.
Otherwise, it's autumn. How often do you refer to fall as autumn? Because
Never.
I never say autumn, really. I just say fall.
I say fall. And maybe, I bet it's because the leaves falling. Yeah. But I don't know.
Well, I just wonder if it's like if people in different areas say autumn more than fall. Like with soda. Like soda versus pop versus, I don't know if there's other, sassafras. I don't know if there's other... lingo, but if I feel like autumn is the more professional way of saying fall.
Well, the more professional way is autumn. But like in the South, I think we call like Coke, we call it Coke. But when like I would go up to Rochester, New York in summertime, they would call it pop.
But Coke is Coca-Cola.
Right, but it's a very generic...
But you use Coke for all sodas?
Yeah, it's for all sodas.
Oh, see, if you say Coke, I'm going to think Coca-Cola. Versus if you say soda, then it's...
Right. But a very big drink in the South, at least when I was there, was RC Cola.
Oh, knockoff Coca-Cola.
Knockoff Coca-Cola, which is also, you could say, it was what Pepsi is.
It was like the what's the Dr. Pepper that's not Dr.
Mr. Pibb.
Mr. Pibb, yeah.
I actually liked Mr. Pibb. It was good, but yeah, I mean, this is a weird hangover.
Well, I mean, what hangover isn't weird? I mean. We covered a lot in the in the main show. Did. We had some good
Kleenex.
Kleenex being a brand name, not an actual.
It's like Clorox wipes.
Yeah, we say Clorox. Well, no, because I'll say Lysol wipes, but
Oh yeah, Lysol wipes.
But there was something else that I realized that we say is a brand, and it's not a brand, that I didn't realize was. Because it was a brand and not the thing, but I can't remember what it was. Jack says in class they say autumn since a lot of things in science fall. I guess that's fair. Hoover in the UK. Wait, Hoover for what?
Vacuum?
For Apple. Oh, for wait.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm not sure what Hoover represents there. Vacuums, I bet. What is it? It's like a Hoover vacuum?
Yeah, there's Hoover. Yeah, it's a popular vacuum.
It sounds like expensive, right?
No, Dyson is the expensive one. Dyson is like your...
Oh, that's the one that's really
Dyson
expensive.
Dyson is expensive. But every time I hear Dyson, I just think Dyson Sphere.
Right, so Dyson has those masks, though.
Okay, in UK, all vacuums are Hoovers.
Yeah, Dyson has a mask, though, like when pandemic hit.
A face mask?
Yeah. But it's like $1,000.
I did not know they made a face mask.
Yeah, it's $1,000. And
does it last forever?
It better.
Do you have to change a filter?
It also I don't know, has a filter or something. I don't know.
God.
But yeah, $1,000.
I mean, that's fun. Hoover. I can't say Hoover. Hold on, I gotta prep for my British accent.
Oh shit.
Hello, Governor. Cheerio. Good day, mate. Would you like some tea and crumpets? I gotta go hoovering. I gotta hoover my flat, mate. There we go. All right. I used it.
Meanwhile, I'm like, not bad, but
every British person that would ever hear this would be like, oh my God, the war crime that just happened out of her mouth. And that's what Federico thinks every time he hears me do an Italian accent, is the war crimes that he should charge me for, which is ironic coming from... Never mind. That was the war. I don't need to make a World War II reference joke.
Wow.
And then here comes Brandon. Hoovering your flatmate sounds like something else. Well, Brandon, let me tell you about the full beaver moon coming up. With that busty star formation. In Aphrodite's clam.
Oh my gosh.
Cheerio, mate!
This is when Brandon's like little sentence there. Commas are really important.
We did it. We've gone
They're
full hangover. We've gone full hangover. Thank you.
Commas are extremely important. Just hoovering my flat, comma, mate.
Never go full hangover. No, full hangover is when I end up on the bathroom floor. That's not. I'm not anywhere near that point right now, so we're okay on that front. I was, when we were talking about the Australian telescope that detected the that fucking crazy FRB. I was really
Swinburne?
I almost tried to do an Australian accent. I almost was, because in the notes I put Aussie for everything that would have read Australian.
She did put Aussie.
Because why bother typing out Australian when I can just write Aussie?
That's fair.
And I was just gonna, and I was, at some point I wanted to throw in an Australian accent, but I'm really not good with Australian accents. It's I'm not good with any accent, but Australian is, it's like a Scotland. Like, that's all I can... Scotland. Or Russian. Vodka. Like, that's what I can do. Vodka.
Yeah, there's only, like, a few words.
You know, but Australian is like, mate, throw some shrimp on the barbie, mate. I'll see you down in Hurricane Bay, mate. We got a widget in.
Australian for beer.
So, yeah. What's the...
Foster's.
Foster's.
Australian
for beer, mate. Australian for beer.
Yeah, Australian, not even
But I really
the World
like
Cup.
the Australian / also the New Zealand accent.
Well, they're very similar.
They're very similar. They're not the same.
They're
Don't
not the
worry.
same.
They're not the same. Obviously, New Zealand is better.
All you Kiwis. And you know what? I'm pulling for the All Blacks next Saturday. I'm pulling for them.
This is the only sports.
My team.
This is the only sports that happens. Although when Brandon visited, there was also
baseball.
There was also no, it was
it was baseball, right?
Oh yeah, he put on baseball and football.
Oh, he put on soccer as
Yeah.
well. I missed the soccer.
Yeah, it was when you were watching. You had rugby and he had soccer.
Yeah, soccer. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, different colonies. No, I don't think New Zealand was a penal colony. It's just,
it was just Australia. It was Australia. But New Zealand actually used to be part of Australia. And then
it broke apart. Because of continental drift.
Yeah.
Check out those geology terms.
Yeah, but definitely pulling for the All Blacks. So next Saturday, the Rugby World Cup is happening. So I only watch sports.
It's happening, everyone.
I only watch sports. Watch it every 4 years. It's not that often. But I actually have access finally to being able to see the All Blacks play, which is the New Zealand national rugby team. Mm-hmm. And I finally have a chance to watch it.
They're beasts of men.
Well, all of them. It's not just New Zealand. Everybody playing in the World Cup. But rugby is so big in New Zealand that when the World Cup last happened, I think it was 2009 in New Zealand. So this is when it occurred in New Zealand. I was talking to a colleague, a friend in New Zealand, and he basically said that if New Zealand lost, they won, but if they lost, the entire country would just shut down. They would not be able to handle it. And so New Zealand is in the finals against South Africa, and which is kind of a big rival with New Zealand. There's also Australia, but and that occurs next Saturday. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, they can just use some eagles.
And just fly the ring to Mount Doom.
Fly that ball right into the net.
Wrong sport, but
whatever. I hope you know I'm staring exactly right into your soul, Braden, right now. With that comment.
Well, he said, "God damn it, no eagles." Like right into the net.
Right in there.
Wrong sport.
Right. They have they don't have a net. Do they have the
don't have a net. They have the goal
You know what? Look, we've been
Think of it as football.
Right. Yes, that's right. It's sideways football. It's continuous sideways to backwards football. Because they can't throw the ball forwards.
Okay, I got you. But they can kick it forward.
Yeah, look, we've been watching. So we watch Leave It to Wrexham on Hulu. But then we also, of course, love Ted Lasso, which, you know, sports shows is not normally our thing. But in my brain, I cannot separate the two of them in my brain, where I will think of something watching Wrexham that actually happened in Ted Lasso, and when we picked up Ted Lasso again and watched the last season, like, there were things I was like, and then I'm like, no, that was in Wrexham, like, that was real life things. I could not separate them in my brain. They just kind of got all mixed up.
But Wrexham does win it last year.
Don't spoil things.
Okay. Seriously, at this point, the new season has started.
Spoilers. God. Mom, the eagles we're referring to are the eagles from Lord of the Rings that I think could have easily just taken the ring and dropped it into Mount Doom, saving Frodo and Sam a lot of fucking physical and mental trauma and emotional trauma. Everybody, actually. Saving everybody a lot of physical trauma. A lot of deaths could be saved. But then Brandon has a whole thing about their politics. And I'm like, look, the eagles are just being selfish little pricks. They could just save the day immediately instead of coming in at the last hour looking like heroes. But anyway, that's what the Eagles are referring to. It's just we just like to poke at Brandon every now and then with Eagles.
And Brandon goes, "That is so incorrect. I don't even have enough time to explain how wrong you are." Hey, well, you're correct. Not here. You're not here.
Yeah, go
Hawaii yourself.
Go Hawaii yourself. Go get Hawaii'd. Go have your Mai Tai.
All right, so New Zealand versus South Africa will be interesting because of the cross immigration between. Yeah, I mean, that is true.
Oh, there's a lot of cross immigration between South Africa and New Zealand?
Yeah, there's actually a lot more with India in South Africa.
Really?
But, yeah. And so, like, Gandhi was actually, if you watch the movie Gandhi, he actually starts off in South Africa before he goes back to India. And so he was a lawyer in South Africa, but
he's from India.
He's from India.
Okay. But then
went to South Africa
for a career. Went to South. That's an interesting thing. Yeah. I wonder why South Africa. It seems a little far.
I don't know, but I mean, right? But yeah. So South Africa has just a huge rugby team. They are really good, and to be honest, if they were to win the Rugby World Cup next weekend, I'd be like, okay, tip your hat to it. But they really are phenomenally good.
That would suck.
I did watch them play France a bit. Oh my God, they were. I mean, holy shit! They're really good. They're called the Springboks, which is like some animal.
A springbok.
Yeah, springbok.
Okay. I heard the last is springbot, like it's like robots.
I did probably say it that way.
Springbok. Yeah, it's like a gazelle-ish type of it. They spring.
Yeah, spring, they jump.
Until a cheetah gets them, and then it's...
But they're really good. They're going to give New Zealand a run for their money, but,
But, I mean, come on. I mean, imagine, like, you, before a game starts, and you have to stare at this team wearing all black, baby, and then they just start, like, tribal chanting at you.
In a haka.
And just guttural, just, like, a warrior dancing you. Like, that's intimidating as shit to see those guys do that.
Yeah, and, you know, they actually will show the other team, and the other team does do... The other side, they do where they will lock arms.
They're like, yeah, we'll take you guys on.
But it
Red Rover.
But it really is an intimidating thing, and I think it's great that, like, just rugby culture anyway allows a country to do that.
Yeah.
Because
it's a cultural thing. It's like their national anthem, right?
It really is.
In a sense.
Well, yeah,
like,
in a sense.
Like it's a meaningful thing that they...
So the Maori, which were the native...
The indigenous population.
Yeah, the indigenous population of New Zealand, when they would fight another tribe or whatever, they would meet on the field, they would do a haka and things like that. And so it really is an amazing thing to watch. I do sit there and go, okay.
Are these white guys on the team allowed to do this shit?
All you white guys shouldn't be doing this.
They don't have as much as the intimidation factor as, you know, the indigenous population.
Right.
The members of the team.
Yeah, but
but they give it a good go.
And they
mean it.
And I do think that, like, the white guys, the European guys that are on the team really do respect the Maori culture and that type of thing. And
I mean, they would have to anyway, because I'm sure that if they didn't, they learn real quick that they need to.
Yeah, and I do think that, like, New Zealand just in general does that.
Yeah, New Zealand seems like a country that is very tolerant and open and cares about their citizenry and respects, you know, minorities and their indigenous populations, but also is willing to adapt and make necessary changes to stop people just dying from gunshots or, you know, just it seems like a much healthier civilization and way of life that maybe larger societies should model themselves after to become better stewards of the world and their fellow people. End scene.
Well said. I mean, yeah. So, like, when the shooting happened at the mosque,
Christchurch.
Was it? It was Christchurch.
No, there was.
Christchurch was the earthquake.
That was an earthquake. Yeah, but yeah.
But there was the shooting. I can't remember where it happened, but the guy goes in and he kills.
No more of those weapons. Done.
Right. Exactly.
Immediately. Meanwhile.
And the prime minister, I can't remember her name, but she was like, you know, fuck this, we're done. It's done.
We're not supposed to get too soapboxy anymore, remember? This was your rule. This was your goal. This was your goal.
But am I being soapboxy?
Just like Pisces, I'm going to reel you in.
Am I being soapboxy?
No, but it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope of soapboxness.
Okay.
I will highlight Jack's comment. Jack says New Zealand farmers were brought over to help with South Africa's agricultural issues. South Africa shipping companies set up offices in New Zealand as a gateway to South America for Asian countries. Huh.
You mean South Africa? Gateway to South Africa for Asian company?
Yes, I'm assuming he meant South Africa for Asian countries. That's cool. Yeah, okay. Go have fun on your island adventure. Get out of here. But thanks for spending time with us while you're in paradise.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to next Saturday. So.
What's happening next Saturday?
The Rugby World Cup.
Oh, okay. What we were just talking about. I was on my brain as like, is island life? And then I'm like, ooh, where? Or is this something?
I'm lapping Oahu next Saturday. You and I both.
Yes. If only.
Surprise! We're going to Hawaii.
That would be. Anyway, is this the first time we went on a real sports tangent?
Probably.
Oh, they were looking for a link between China and Chile. So South America. Everybody's always been looking for a link elsewhere.
You mean South Africa?
China and Chile. Chile is in South America.
Right, but I'm thinking about. I mean, South Africa would be like a halfway stop between China and South America and Chile.
That's true. Got to get over that Cape of
Good Hope.
Is that the one? Which is Magellan, right? It fucked Magellan up. Is that the one that fucked Magellan up? Is that the one?
All right, so you have the Cape. You have the Cape up at Ethiopia, and then you have the Cape.
That Cape going around Africa. That's the one that fucks everybody up, right?
I mean, probably.
All right, everybody thinks back to your 1500s, 1600s exploration knowledge.
Oh, now I gotta look it up.
The era of exploration,
which
I would like to point out to this is to the flat earthers out there, because we love you and we want you to just get on the spherical train. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with the spherical train. I know things, you got to be a part of something that's different. I don't know. But let's just say this, okay? During the age of exploration, when you had all these explorers, the Gammas, the Columbuses, I mean, they're all horrible people. All of them. Every single one of them. Horrible people. But as your Cooks, right? As they're going out.
Good Hope.
Cape of Good Hope, okay.
Yep.
These explorers, they knew the Earth was round. We've known the Earth was round for a very long time. In fact, the Greeks actually proved it. They found the circumference of the Earth. The Greeks did that. They did that with, fucking shadows in a well. Come on. So they knew it wasn't flat, because why would they sail out into the unknown knowing there was an edge they could drop off of? No, they knew the Earth was round, and so they went about sailing to find fucking God golden money. If you're Spanish or Portuguese.
I just love how your mom didn't put up with shit. Well, shove them off the flat earthers off the edge.
Just shove them off the edge. They've tried. Modern flat earthers have tried to go to the edge. What did they discover? No fucking edge. They come right back around.
They continually discover a horizon.
We have pictures of the Earth. It's round. We have pictures of every other planet in the solar system. Guess what?
Oh, but they actually admit every other planet is spherical.
Why the fuck would we not be spherical? Why would we be a flat circle?
Yeah, they admit every other planet is spherical.
Why? What's the point? I don't understand the point to the logic. There's no logic. I know there's no logic, but I'm saying to their perceived logic, I don't understand the motivation, the point. That I get the religious motive and logic. I say in quotes. I understand that from a psychological view of religion, but the flat earther thing, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get what the motive and the means are. I don't know what you hope to get from it.
Yeah,
Your dad says it can be flat and round. That's not spherical, though. Tell Dad that's not a sphere. A sphere is a 3D circle.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I've never heard it described that way.
It's a 3D circle.
It's a 3D circle.
Just like a cube is a 3D square.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. See? I got a D in geometry. I just want everybody to know this. In high school, I got a D in geometry. I have my high school transcript somewhere that I can prove that. But I got a D in geometry. In fact, that's the only class I've ever...
You didn't fail it.
Gotten a D. I've never failed any class, actually. No. I've gotten some C's, I think. But that's the lowest score I ever got was a D in geometry.
God forbid you get a C.
Well, look, okay, in high school it didn't matter. But eventually, once I found my motivation and my discipline in college... I got 1 B, and it fucked up my GPA at ASU because it transferred over from a community college, and so I could have graduated college with a 4.0, but it ended up being a 3.9 fucking 8, and I'm so upset by that B because that B was over nothing. It was over nothing. It was like just like a couple grammar errors maybe on an essay that knocked down one essay a grade, and then I got a B. And
yeah, in my family, C's were not accepted.
oh, my parents really were very lenient, and I was a total shit show at high school, and I was, they were like, I wasn't failing anything, so I guess they were like, well, she's not failing, so we'll let her do what she does.
Oh God, my parents, I love them, but they were like, C's
They were
unacceptable.
teachers.
No, yeah, they were.
They were teachers. You had a higher standard than you. I can't imagine. Oh, God. I'm so... Thanks for not being teachers, parents. Thanks for being lifesavers.
Yeah.
Oh, is it Pringle-shaped, Jack? Do they think the Earth is Pringle-shaped?
No, they think it's flat, and he's asking
why it isn't. I
Pringle-shaped.
read. I'm sorry, Jack. I read it wrong. This is what happens when I do things too fast. I read things too fast, and I miss things. Tale as old as time. Yeah, why isn't it Pringle-shaped? Because the universe...
The universe is plausible
possibly saddle-shaped, like a Pringle.
Yeah.
So why is it like
I think it's easier
nickel.
for you to go to the top of the tallest building on Earth and look around and it still looks flat. And also, when you go out onto a plane and you're flying 35,000 feet, you don't see the curvature of the Earth because the Earth's so big. Even though it is small compared to other things in the universe.
I guess you don't.
No, and so the horizon, still looks flat.
Yeah.
To them, and so
but
it is
go
a very
higher. Let's watch some space rockets take off.
Exactly, you go a little bit higher, but it's a very small view of the universe.
Earth, yeah.
Yeah, and so they can't, go to the space station. You actually do see the curvature, but the thing is that at that point, they're so ingrained in what they're thinking that they have to say, well, but this is a conspiracy theory.
Mental gymnastics.
Yeah, they say this is a conspiracy theory. ISS doesn't exist.
Oh, right.
And this is just NASA saying,
of course,
that from ISS it proves the Earth is round.
Or it's also not Pringle shaped because once you pop, you just can't stop. We would have eaten it already. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, this has been a wild ride.
It's
we
been
went
really
in
wild.
many directions that I never thought we would go in.
Like rugby.
Like sports, for one, for a while, knocking on flat earthers. That was not in a foreseeable...
It's a good thing Brandon wasn't here because he would bring in baseball.
That's true. He would bring in baseball.
And soccer.
Football. Well, no, he'd mostly bring in baseball because it's World Series times for the Diamondbacks, and he's a big Diamondbacks fan. So he is on the edge of his seats, wherever that seat is, waiting for the Diamondbacks to win.
They lost last night?
I don't know. We shouldn't.
He didn't say
He's not
anything.
listening anymore. That's right. He's enjoying Hawaii, but
as he should, actually.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it is probably good. Because that would have been a whole nother diatribe of sports. But what a rabbit hole, which is what happens when you join us for The Hangover, is because of The Hangover. The alcohol has settled in. We typically don't know what else we're going to talk about, so we just shoot the shit with you, which is what we like to do anyway.
So in 2 weeks, Percival
Lowell. You might be familiar with Lowell Observatory up in Arizona. It did some shit. We'll talk about it. Maybe a little plooty-ploots. Little ploots. Little Plutos will be involved with that. I don't know, but yes, check us out then. Otherwise, for now, follow us on all the things. At Drinking Cosmos on Twitter. Cosmos with Cosmos everywhere else you can Check out our episodes on Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts, or you can watch us on YouTube. Also, every other Wednesday, we have The Shot coming at you, just shooters of astronomy science down your gullet. So take a look at those. But anyway, for now, everybody, it's been fun. Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Hangover, and we'll see you next time, everybody.
Go All Blacks! We'll see you in 2 weeks.
It's been
Cheers.
fun.
Bye.
Adios. Yeah, I'm trying to end it. I don't have a button for this. I don't have a button for it,
Why
everybody.
don't you have a button?
Because it doesn't. I don't
I
have
got
a
you
button
that
for
thing.
it. I know, but I can't. I gotta. Anyway. Bye.
Cheers.